Here's my ranking for all 7 of the MCU trilogies now that Deadpool and Wolverine has come out. I'm sorry, but dead last at number 7 has to go to the Ant-Man trilogy. Ant-Man 1 was a really fresh take for the MCU, as it was just a heist comedy film, which was our first, I think, straight-up comedy film for the MCU. But Ant-Man the Wasp it was alright. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania is slightly a little bit worse. I think that Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania is the main reason why it's this low. For me personally, I would probably put the Thor trilogy at number 6. I have almost no problems with Thor 1. Thor the Dark World, I thought, was interesting in the fact of how they dealt with Loki after Avengers 1, because I think that was probably my favorite part of the whole film. And I personally really like Thor Ragnarok. It's gone down in my enjoyability over the years, but it's still pretty good. And we don't bring up Thor Love and Thunder. Number 5 is going to have to go to the Iron Man trilogy. If you guys know me, you know that I hate Iron Man 2. And Iron Man 3 is alright. But I love Iron Man 1. It's in my top 10 MCU films. It's really great. But this trilogy overall isn't perfect, but it's decent. Number 4 is going to go to the Deadpool trilogy. Although the first 2 films aren't necessarily in the MCU, they are some pretty great movies. And the first one's one of my favorite comic book movies of all time. And Deadpool and Wolverine is great. And I don't have any problems with Deadpool 2. Is it a perfect trilogy? No, but it is close. And we could technically consider this an MCU trilogy. Number 3 is going to go to the Spider-Man trilogy. I love Spider-Man Homecoming. I love Far From Home, and I love No Way Home. It's one of my favorite movies in general. Are there problems? Yes, but when you look at the overall theme for Tom Holland's Spider-Man and how they were going with him having his arc over 6 films, which is strange, but when you look at it that way, they're really not that bad, and they fit in with his story very well. And with the take on Spider-Man that they did take in the MCU, they're pretty good. I will say the weakest side of the trilogy is probably Far From Home, but it does have some really awesome moments in there that I really do like. Number 2 is going to go to the Captain America trilogy. In the top 3 is usually where I think that they're almost near perfect. And let me tell you, I love Captain America 1. Captain America the Winter Soldier is in like my top 10 MCU films. And so is Civil War. I mean, they have some really great stuff in here. And it is a really great comic book movie trilogy in general. I mean, I even have a hot toy of Captain America now, too. But number 1 may not come as a surprise to anybody, but my favorite trilogy of all time, Guardians of the Galaxy. Each one of these movies, in my opinion, is perfection, and I don't see a flaw in any of them. There are weak points, especially in the second film, but I personally don't have many flaws with any of them, and I think that it is perfect. It's essentially Marvel's Star Wars, and this whole team of misfits coming together and everything is something that I loved, and it's one of my favorite things to come from the MCU. I loved Guardians 3. Guardians 1 is my favorite MCU film out of all 37 of them, and I think Guardians 2 is a lot of fun. That's my ranking for all the MCU trilogies. Where do you guys rank them? Let me know in the comments below.